Okay, so Malia, I have to be totally honest with you. The reason why we're doing this for a second time, because you were in town, what was it? February, what, 2nd, 3rd, 4th?
Yeah, around there.
And you guys were all dressed up. You look fantastic. You were on set. You were here in Omaha. You were in the middle of shooting Total Ship Show, recorded an episode of our podcast, and it was awesome. And I deleted it. So that's why
Ouch.
I appreciate you doing this again.
Yeah, no problem. I've got lots of spare time, so this is
Yeah,
good.
you have a ton of spare time. Well, and so we're recording this on Friday. What is it, the 11th? And what did you just do today? What happened today?
I just passed GMDSS, which is one of the modules for my officer's ticket.
That's awesome. And
Woo!
I know that when you're not back in the United States that much, but you have been recently. And when you're not, I mean, you were in class a lot when you were here.
Yeah, every day. And then when I wasn't in class, I was studying. So
Yeah.
I had no life.
So except for the time that did you study when you were here in town?
No.
Oh, okay. Let's be honest.
Yeah, just podcasting.
Well, so what does this eventually means that you could eventually be a captain?
Yeah, well, it's for my officer of the watch, so that'll be the next ticket that I am trying to achieve. So that'll allow me to be like a chief mate and, spend more time in the bridge. So eventually, yes, be a captain.
So as far as the levels of yachting go, bosun, and what are the levels? But how far underneath captain is bosun?
So captain, chief officer, second officer, bosun is what my boat's at right now.
Got
So for me, this will allow me to become an officer, so I get to spend more time in the bridge. And then my next license is my master 3000.
got it. Ooh, that sounds super fancy.
Woo!
Ooh,
Yeah.
it is master 3000. So I'm super proud of Total Ship Show. I know I've told you that a million times, but I'm super proud of the show. And I'm first of all, thank you for trusting us and not thinking I was too creepy, sliding into your DMs saying, "Hey, dude, let's do a podcast." I know it took you a minute to respond, but that's fine. You eventually did, and then we're making something pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah, being in Omaha, it was freezing, so it's
It was
kind of
like
nice
one.
being
It
there.
was literally one.
It was so cold. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm so excited for it as well. Thanks for trusting me and
Yeah.
all these ship stories.
Yeah, no, it is fascinating. 'Cause I mean, people that watch Below Deck Med, they see a certain not only do they see a certain side, only a certain side of yachting, but they only see what the people on Below Deck want you to see. So what Total Ship Show
Mhm.
is well, I guess explain it. Explain what is Total Ship Show.
Yeah, I think, when I started the industry, it was in below deck, and I fell in love with the industry for what it is. And I think a lot of people watching the show fell in love with the show for that reason because they aren't familiar with the yachting industry and they wanted to learn more about it. And like I get so many questions every week, like, how do I get into the yachting industry? Or what's it like? How do you guys, you know, where do you guys sleep? What do you guys do? All these kind of questions that people get from watching the show. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about just kind of showing what happens behind the scenes in the industry all year round and on actual boats and kind of some of the crazy stories, some of the topics that need to be discussed in the industry. That's what I want to get into.
I love it, and we all know it's a dangerous industry, but that's kind of something else that we go into on the show too. Is that you talk about some of these stories that people it's not public knowledge. A lot of these stories. I mean, it's extremely dangerous what you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is the side of the show is, they do show everything, but a lot of there hasn't been any major accidents or anything on the show that I'm aware of to date. And that's one thing about the actual industry is it's quite hazardous, not just yachting, but all the maritime, like shipping industry and cargo industry. There's accidents that happen all the time, all over the world, and they're really interesting. So, yeah, kind of sharing or shedding a light on that, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, and there was it was I think Captain Lee that's just OG Below Deck that one deckhand or I don't know I don't want to say the titles incorrectly, but he got drug into the water by a
The
rope.
line.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That happened. And that was really serious. Like a camera crew member had to
mhm,
jump in and intervene and like save him.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, and just kind of like showing how common that is around our industry and why these things happen. And Yeah, I fell in love with yachting, so I just want to share my love for it.
It's a great first season, and some of the guests that you have on for your first season, who are they?
Yeah, it's a lot of below deck heavy this first season because I kind of wanted to take the chance to show everyone the people behind the camera. Like a lot of my castmates, like Bobby Giancola will be on there. He's no longer a yachty; he's a broker. So, kind of sharing his story from being a yachty turning into a broker. Um, Katie Flood will be on there, sharing her Chief Stew stories. Kate Chastain, like I've only just recently met Kate in person, so kind of sharing who Kate is with before the franchise, and she's really interesting and she's got some crazy stories. So yeah, just some fun stuff.
It's going to be great. And then we're already getting ready for season 2. If we can ever nail you down on a schedule,
Yeah.
we'll get season 2 going. But I mean, we're all so proud of the show here, and we love you, and we love Amanda, your co-host, who's your best friend from Denver.
Yes. Yeah, we met in college. We met in Boulder, Colorado, and she's just the perfect co-host because she has no clue what yachting is. So she'll kind of have the perspective of a lot of the fans out there that aren't in yachting or have no clue. So she'll ask all the questions in that kind of sense.
Yeah. And I've noticed too, just by watching hours and hours of the show while I'm editing it, a lot of the terms that you guys use in your industry are terms that we use that aren't in your industry, and we have no idea what they mean. I didn't realize that the bitter end was the end of an anchor line, right?
Well, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't, because people always say stick around to the bitter end. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then I heard you say that in one of the episodes. I'm like, what? That's what that means? I had no clue.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess there's a few things, but yeah, like people say like, "Oh, Roger that," but a
Mhm.
lot of that's maritime as well, well, military or maritime, and
Yeah.
yeah, a few things.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. The show is out now. We have links in the everything, whatever links on the description of the podcast to go. But you can go just search Total Ship Show anywhere you get your podcast, and also on YouTube as well. Malia, we love you. We're proud of
Yay!
you, and thank you for this show. It's awesome.
Thanks, Pat. I can't wait.